points on the list. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it. Man, this is crazy. Look at this outfit. They making me wear this. It's weird as hell. Shout out to Cole, but so I need to show you guys the damage. I crashed the Lambo, but there's a good story behind it. I need to talk about a lot of things. I got a little mini philo for you. We're going to talk about stocks and everything, but I made money off of it. In a weird way. This isn't like insurance fraud. It's nothing like that. So relax and all that. And then if you don't like, if you're the guy who like watches YouTube videos and you're like, this child is completely incorrect, or he spent this, here's the moral of some of this. Trust me, I'll tell you right now, we're going to talk about what you need to be comfortable with. That's what it is. But I'm going to share with you a nice story. I'm going to show you around. I think it's finally time. You guys will get to see some of the cars here. I don't like to show them because I don't want to it's just weird. But say what's up if you do see me. I would love to see you. Thumbs up, salute, do your thing. But, so we're going to just talk. I'm going to take you with the drive. I got to get going here. We're doing a lot of work. But, this thought came to my mind and I wanted to share it with you guys. So let's talk about it, man. Let's see what's about to happen next, okay? So here it is. You finally get to see it. The first shot had me in it. You see I blocked out the windshield. We good. There's the baby. That's Faith. That's Faith. We call her Faith. Took a lot to get Faith. Faith requires a lot. Okay, anyway, don't let me get started. But here it is. Brand new car. I got it about a year ago, actually. But it is clapped. And here's the damage. It's totally wrecked. So it's a little dirty, too. But there it is. You see that? Look at that. Look at that right there. You see this? Look at the paint. I don't know if that's my paint or if that's their paint. And then right there. This one might come off. I'll hit it with the, I just licked it. But yeah, not too bad, but pretty bad. It makes me cry a little bit on the inside. But there's a funny story with it. So you got to see it. We're gonna talk about it here. I'm gonna get in the car and then we're gonna go from there. So yeah. Man, I told you this shit looked funny, man. This already looked funny. I was even thinking about it. I know Mustafa will make fun of me for this. He's gonna be like, how do you crash a Lambo and then make a philo out of it? But that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna tell you this story. I was driving. You guys know I need to go to the bathroom a lot. So I was driving to LA. I had to stop and go to the bathroom. So I stopped at a Ralph's parking lot. And it was kind of tight, LA traffic. It was pretty crazy. So I park at traffic. I'm just thinking about this story a lot right now, man. It's really sad, honestly. It's really, really sad, okay? But I go and I park and I got in this spot and it was kind of small. And I even thought to myself at first, I was like, all right, it's a little bit small. I just need to go in there in the bathroom real quick. And this is the moral of the story right here. Don't miss it, don't miss it. I wanted to change spots. Right when I got in the parking lot, I parked the car. I wanted to switch spots, but then I was like, I don't really want to move right now. I don't want to move the car. And at the same time, I was just like, I'll be in and out real quick. The last thing I'm expecting is someone to hit my car. And I was comfortable. And that's what I'm really talking about here. Do what you're comfortable with is the philo. And this is how I made a lot of money off of this, because I feel like this is a lesson to learn instantly, and it just reminds me too much of stocks. Because I'm saying, have you ever heard the phrase, go with what you're comfortable with losing? So ask yourself that though, because when you make a play, let's say I was comfortable going inside, going to the bathroom, coming back out. I was comfortable with that. I didn't want to move. I was comfortable as if someone hit my car, literally, if somebody hits my Lamborghini, how am I going to feel when I come back with that? I was more comfortable with not moving the car than having that happen, because I knew it could happen. That's why I wanted to move, but I didn't think it would happen. I don't know. Am I getting too deep with this? I hope you realize what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, it just reminded me a lot about stocks. It reminded me a lot about with people asking me, or, going into plays and they're saying, what are you going to do if it goes down? What are you going to do if this? Or then I see people make trades and they're, when it's all said and done, you make an investment, it doesn't work out. Literally, you go in, you didn't think it was going to happen, you crash the shit, somebody crashes your shit. I think it just goes to show there are a lot of things outside of your control, especially when investing. So,
the point is, are you comfortable with what you're doing? And that's where the philo comes down to. This is what I got out of it, and I really think I don't know, I think it came to me at a divine time to be able to say that, all right, I think if next time I do something is pretty much what I'm telling you. If I ever get that feeling that I had before I parked where I was like, okay, it's going to be quick, but I also know that, if I don't feel comfortable, don't do it. So that's all I'm here to tell you on this video. I mean, I do want to talk about, a couple of stocks, like I said now, and I don't know, maybe this is a good segue into the stock that I'm going to be buying for the rest of the year. I was talking about this on stream. There's about 3 of them that I like, but one of them that I really, really, really do like more than any of them. But I think you just don't miss this point, okay? I hope that's my story. That's my story of the Lambo getting hit. I told you I'm going to tell you it, but we'll get into the stocks. But just really, I think moving forward with anything for the rest of the year, any investments, anything of that nature, do not do something that you're like really not comfortable with. And if you come outside and that shit's smashed, are you going to be, how comfortable are you going to take it? I think I took it like a champ. I really wasn't too bothered by it. It sucked. I could talk about it. Even when I give you this story, I'm like, damn, like I think about it when I even say it out loud. But at the end of the day, go with what you're comfortable with. And the funny part is, I can say this about this whole experience, the car, all of that, but I'm sure a lot of you could probably relate to this with some stocks and investments you made and some of you have taken it like champs too. And that's why at the end of the day, go with what you're comfortable with. So let's talk a little bit about the stocks now. Now that you got your story time, I don't know, what do you think about this little segue? Is this an interesting segue? You let me know. But at the end of the day, there's nothing at the end of the day. I want to talk about the stocks. Airbnb, that's the first one. I'm debating whether or not I'm going to be putting in a separate budget for Airbnb, and honestly, I may do the same thing at Uber now that it's came down, and that's the second one. But Airbnb is a company that I'm really, really liking, and I said this on stream. A lot of people are saying, what's the right time to buy right now, or what's the best stock to buy right now? I don't know about right now. The 3 companies I'm going to name to you are all companies that I would be okay with owning no matter what, just in the future. Like, it's not about timing. It's saying when it's just all said and done, I want to own these companies. I don't really care what price they go to. My logic is, if you guys ever saw what we did with Snapchat, that was the same logic we approached it with. And it sucks when the stock is down. It sucks when it goes down and then it shoots up. And it just highlights this point though, because at the end of the day, it's like I want to buy it at all levels. I'm trying to acquire equity, but Airbnb is something, especially, as I'm making this video right now, everybody's freaking out about Delta and traveling, but kind of not really. I'm driving right now. There's a shit ton of traffic, but I own a couple of Airbnbs, and I think this market and what it is, in the next company I already mentioned it though, Uber, both of those companies right there are names that you know about, and these are not names that you're gonna forget. Honestly, I feel like the day that I ever have kids, that's a long time, at least a decade, those are gonna be what's there. I have a nephew, and I've also often said this. I was like, man, when he's 18, what is he going to be using, or what's something that's going to be a household name? And I think a lot of people really miss a lot of things. I think the world has changed a lot in the last just 4 or 5 years, and what's happened, a lot of 13, 14-year-olds are now 18 and 19, and then go back and do that cycle 4 or 5 years, you'll notice certain trends go through. But some of these companies like Airbnb and Uber, I think, are going to be around. So I own both of these stocks, all of these stocks. I probably should have gave the disclaimer. I own all of them. Option trading, financial revenues, financial education, no purpose, only thing around the day. But also, I'm owning all of these. I don't really plan on selling them for a while, and I'm going to be acquiring them. That's the difference. A lot of people buy stocks, they trim them, they rebalance on average, like 30, 40 days. Is probably less than that in this market. But I plan on holding this for 10 years. So I think it highlights, the goal and what I'm trying to do with it. But quite frankly, these are just good companies to own and hold, and I really, really like Airbnb. And the first number one reason is it's just a brand name and it's going to be there. Now, I could dive into the financials of this company. We've gone over it on stream. One of the best things, and this is like looking at it from a fundamental business side of the coin, is that Airbnb is actually, like, in the travel space, compare Expedia, Booking, and in general, it's very hard to find a direct competitor on the stock market. You're not going to find somebody who has the ride share model. I know that's Uber, but this, share economy for travel, it doesn't exist on the market. There's a couple here, a couple there. Expedia and Booking, they're trying to facilitate it. There's VRBO, and I think Booking.com owns them, but the whole logic with it is that it's very unique there. But even fundamentally, if you wanted to compare just travel or lodging companies, they have one of the highest future growth rates, and not based on what people are willing to pay for it. That's why it is overvalued. I'll tell you right now, at this price, the big thing, analysts and people who watch Airbnb, the biggest gripe they have is that it just IPO'd. You're not buying it at a cheap premium. That's why I think time will ultimately, do its thing on this type of investment, but it is definitely overvalued. But the thing is, it has just a way higher future expected growth rate. The way they're growing revenue, the way they're expected to grow, you can't find that growth. They're literally an outlier in the whole travel space. So these are just two quick reasons with it. I think it's going to be around here, and then as part of the reopening trade, that's some of it. But when I'm looking at companies, this is going to explain even the rest of the companies I want to talk about here. It is simply that there's nothing else I'd really rather own. That's what I'm saying. When I'm looking ahead in the future, there's nothing too compelling where I'm like, yeah, it has a brand name. I use it. Again, I've used Airbnb to travel. I have the rentals that I put on Airbnb, and you've probably seen some TikToks. Ask anybody getting involved in rental properties right now or doing Airbnb. The market is very, very hot right now. It is actually insane with the reopening, the price, even Jerome Powell will tell you this, the price of lodging, rental cars, hotels, airfare, and oil. Those are the stuff, did I say cars? I said cars. Those are the things that are going up, and Airbnb is uniquely benefited off of it. But like I'm saying though, in general, something that I use, but there's not too many companies that I really want to own right now that meet some of these factors. And in general, it's just like a lot of stuff you're betting on a real extended future. Like if you wanted to give me like an EV company, I think Tesla is a little bit more closer to actually doing it because it meets this model like Airbnb. It already exists. They're already making money. Airbnb is making billions of dollars already. It's not that they're not making money. It's not that we're betting on Airbnb to get legislation and then they're going to have Airbnbs everywhere. It's just, it's already making money. It already has the brand name. And that's why when I look at a lot of stuff that's there is stuff that is already making money. Apple, Amazon, I already own some of these companies, but at the same time, some of those are already, you're paying a high valuation in general, and it is just expensive right now, but it's more expensive than Airbnb because the growth is already tapped out. Whereas Airbnb, if they do keep growing and growing, it's still pretty early. I think they could do a lot in the future. So those are some reasons why I like it, but those are just some quick three. And I do like Airbnb. I think this is going to be my number one pick, unless it changes. If it goes up in value, if something changes, and again, I may wait for earnings, or I don't need to wait for earnings. People may ask if I will, but I said this earlier today. It's the same philosophy. I don't really care what it reports. I just want to own the company. So they are one that I like. And now moving to the second one, it meets some of the criteria. I've already talked about this in videos before, Uber. So it's the same thing, and the reason why now I'm looking at it is because we got it at a lower price. Uber took off and we were up almost 100% on the equity there. But now this is the part that I'm really liking about it. I'm only up on it I think 17% now, or 20%, and it's been a decent amount of time. I don't really like averaging up on stuff, but this is where I'm saying it's getting attractive. It's now getting in the mix of, you saw what happened to Didi. They own a stake in Didi, and then SoftBank had to sell off some of their Uber stock to cover the Didi losses. But I just like Uber. It's a little bit more mature now, and I believe they're a few years out to profitability, and they have grown even since the first time we started buying Uber. If you guys remember the long-term video, whenever I've mentioned Uber and started acquiring it, this was even before we saw the full boom in their food delivery and this whole, takeout trend that we've been seeing. So I think they benefit on both sides of anywhere of the economy right now, even during the pandemic. And even if we go into an extended pandemic, or even if we don't, I think they're poised to benefit off of it on both sides. But Either way, it's a very simple one with Uber because we've already laid out the analysis with it, but it's coming down now in value. I was up on it. This was a stock I was happy when it's up, but think about it. I don't sell when it's up. I did sell covered calls on that play. We got to collect our premium, collect rent on it, but if it starts to come down here, I think that's going to be one I'm picking. And then the final stock, there's a couple of ones I like. Spotify is on that list, but I'm still up 50%, even though it's came down, and we own some on the other account. But mainly the one that I'm really liking is DraftKings, because I'm like almost break even on that one. And this is one of those companies, I think it's going to be around just for the next 10 years in general, especially with some of the sporting events and stuff we saw. I think it's going to be very, very key. Am I going the right way? I'm not going the right way. Hold on. All right, I took a wrong turn, but I was saying something with online gambling. But in general, you know, even just thinking about this, I like DraftKings, I like Spotify, and I think this number 3 spot, especially as we're seeing the year develop, it's, you know, I think the rest of the growth companies we have are competing for that spot. So I really like DraftKings, Spotify, and then Coinbase, all for various different reasons. I mean, but a lot of them, you can see this criteria that I've discussed many times before. But in general now, the way I'm looking at it, it's building growth because I haven't really got too much growth this year. So if you really think about what we've been doing, you know, at the beginning of the year, all throughout, we've just been buying a lot of value stocks. We did pick up Coinbase and do some of that, but for the most part, the number one thing has been real value this year. And now that some of this growth has came back, this is going to be some of that opportunity there. So at the end of the day, I hope this helps. I hope you guys go with whatever you are comfortable with, and understand that with the long term, you know, don't do something that you're not comfortable with, in the sense that when you put that money in there, you should want it to stay there, but set up a good budget, hold, add every month, do your thing. Again, none of this is a recommendation, but check out the long-term videos and free long-term alerts in the description. I think that's it, man. But I love all of you, man. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Shout out to everybody. If you make it this far too, you know, I got love for you. I appreciate you. I could even keep ranting, you know, but I'm gonna end it here. I just, you know, I'm shooting this one on Friday after this stream, so I'm in Friday stream mode, you know, where I'm just, shout out to Cole, man. God bless the Cole. You guys better enjoy your weekend, enjoy life, do your thing. All right, I'm done. Let's go, baby.